Hey, day 41. Day 41. Hey, what are you doing today? I don't know, 41's kind of a cool number. I don't know why, it just sounds cool. 41. So anyway, 41 days of this journey. And I was thinking about a couple things. I worked today. I got off, it's a little bit late. I wasn't real sure what I wanted to talk about, so just kind of, as I was driving home, I was thinking about a couple different things. And I was thinking, what if all this is for naught? What if in the end, I really don't achieve the business? And I thought about it, and I was like, you know what? So what? I mean, and not in terms of like a so what kind of thing, but something comes of everything. If I put effort into something, something's going to come of it. I'm going to get something out of it. There's going to be a positive side to it. The reason I bring this up is I was thinking, wow, it's been 41 days, and what have I really done towards the business side of thing? I mean, I've got the diet and the running and the exercise and the weight loss, and I can see that progression. I can actually measure that progression, but the business side of things I can't measure so much. I can I have a sense about different things that I'm looking into, or things that I'm learning, or things that I'm experiencing, or the way my brain is working. But there's not really a measurable. I'm running. With running, I can see I'm getting faster. With running, I can see I can run longer. With eating, I can measure all my calories. I can see the change in my diet with incorporating actually eating fruit, something I haven't done my entire life pretty much. Now as a daily thing. But they're very measurable things. On that side of it, and with the business side of it, it's not so measurable, and that's what I was thinking on that. As I was driving, I was like, 41 days, and what have I accomplished towards the entrepreneurship side of things, the starting my own business, and that's kind of the not the so what. That's not the right term I'm looking for, but really what it comes down to is even if nothing comes of it, I mean, I'm taking in so much information, I'm learning so much. There's a benefit in it, there's a positive in it, and I've got to, for me, I've got to keep focus on that, even though it's difficult to measure my progress in terms of the business I'm starting, or what I'm creating. In the back of my mind, I have to know that it's, even just keeping my brain active, mentally focused on one desire, learning about things, studying and investing my time, and versus having kind of that languid zombie, kind of just going through the motions of a work day. Actually, investing an effort into getting out, and getting on my own, and creating something for myself and doing something for myself. That in itself has a value, and I'm going to pick up, and I'm going to learn some things from that. There was another theme I wanted to talk about that tied into that. Sorry, sometimes I get to rambling on about one aspect, and then I forget the other aspect of what I was thinking about. But what was it? Let's pause for a second. Okay, I got it. It was actually two things. One of the things was, for some reason, just now, I came to the, I kind of came to a small epiphany, that being self-conscious has held me back a lot of times in my life. And, as silly a thing as that is, I didn't want somebody to see me making a video, in my car, talking to myself on the phone, and they don't know what I'm doing. I could just be on some kind of video conference call nowadays. I mean, people walk around supermarkets talking to themselves with Bluetooth, and it's a different age. But my thing is, why should I care? Why should I be self-conscious about it? I could sit. I should make myself do things that are uncomfortable in terms of being self-conscious. I should make a video surrounded by the public, just randomly talking and seeing expressions on people's face. Even something as simple as that, and make myself comfortable with things that I'm not normally comfortable with. I think, as well as strengthening the body and strengthening the mind, and preparing myself for different different ventures. I think that a part of that is just strengthening myself, and one little subtle thing of overcoming the some of the self-conscious things that hold me back as a person. It's not something that I had really thought about incorporating. However, today it hit me, and just now it hit me. That I should do things that make me uncomfortable a little bit, and to kind of outgrow that element of myself, so that when I'm in a situation where something is uncomfortable, I've already fought the fight. I've already done that. I did it years ago. Kind of a silly little story, but I don't mind talking about silly little stories sometimes. But years ago, fresh out of high school, I had a hard time talking to people in general. If I would have, I've been in sales for a while, and at 19, 20, 21 years old, if I would have put myself in a sales situation, I mean, I would have been just totally worthless. I mean, I had so many fears and so many self-conscious things that would have held me back from that. But actually, I had a situation where when I was younger, very young, I used to think I hated adults because adults made me nervous and I couldn't talk to adults. So that was my thing. I would say to myself, "Oh, I hate adults. I'm only comfortable talking to people my age." And then I got into high school, and I started to see that I was nervous around peers or people that I held at a higher level for whatever reason than what I was. So it wasn't just adults; it was something in me I started to notice. And then as I graduated high school and started really kind of moving into the real world, I could sense that I was held back by not being able to talk or communicate, or different situations would make me nervous. I was very introverted. I was very had a lot of anxiety. I think it was just the overall anxiety. If I was in a situation where I had to talk to somebody, sometimes I would get so nervous I would just run away from that situation, or close up, or have really weird conversations because I wasn't myself and I couldn't control what came out of my mouth. It was one of those kind of things. But anyway, to overcome that, I forced myself to get into the business of waiting tables. It's an interesting line of work. I would encourage almost anybody to do it, especially if you have a problem with talking to people. But I mean, even just to go to job interviews, I was a mess, and I was the worst waiter in the world, and not in terms of I could take care of business and provide a good service, but I couldn't have a conversation. I was nervous and shaky when I introduced myself. But it really taught me to overcome those things, and it kind of all reflects back on what I was thinking about now, just putting myself in just awkward situations and making myself stronger for it. There's so many different ways that we as human beings can train ourselves as human beings, whether it be just physical activity and exercise for training our body, or different mental exercises. It kind of comes back to the brain exercise I'm doing now, where I give myself 15 minutes just to come up with as many ideas as I can within that 15 minutes, and I write them down, no matter how silly or how foolish they sound. And I haven't gone back and looked over them, but I think that'll be a really good tool to go back and look over them, and then build off those ideas, and just see until finally I flush out the good idea that I want to run with. I think the idea for the business is going to come from there. Also, that being influenced by looking at different trends, things that are going on, looking at small businesses that are working, investigating those kind of things. I'm gonna pull that idea out. It's just a matter of training my brain to focus the way it needs to focus, and I'll see what I'll need to see. It's just like exercise, just like running. That was the other thing. Actually, there's another thing I want to talk about today, so I'll jump onto that. With the running side of things, it's an interesting game, and that's how I look at it. I get up every day, and I've had certain days when I don't want to run, and I get on the treadmill and I get going, and then I'm fine. But when I trained for a marathon years ago, my thing was always distance. It wasn't speed. I got on the treadmill, I could run a certain speed, but I couldn't run. I didn't have much endurance, so I just built my endurance up, but I never really concentrated on speed. Now this time around, I had a noticeable slowdown because I hadn't run in 5 or 6 years when I got back on a treadmill. And as I said in the beginning, I started off at about a 4.5 mile pace. I could run at 5 miles an hour, but 6 wasn't doable at all. And this was 41 days ago that I was at that level. And I've quickly graduated to 6. I'm back to 6 miles an hour, which is my comfortable pace. However, I know that my body can run faster than that, and that's the interesting thing. I'm in more of a time crunch now, whereas before I had all the time in the world to run distance, so it didn't matter how fast I was running. Now it's I've got a certain amount of time during the day that I need to kind of maximize. So if I can get to, I believe 7 miles an hour gets me to an 8-minute mile. So I could run 3 miles in 24 minutes. That's pretty good. Give me a little bit of time for cool down. And I can go up from there. I think 7.5 should be a goal. 7.5 miles an hour. It's a mile and a half. That's pretty quick. That's for almost 40-year-old fat guy. If I can get to a 7.5 mile an hour pace, I could be pretty excited about that. So I think I'm going to start working on that and make a game out of speed. Get my speed up, get my body to do things that right now sound kind of absurd to me. I think running 3 miles at 7.5 miles an hour it would probably kill me. At the beginning of this, I mean, I'm sure I took it up a couple times to 7.5 miles an hour and ran for a minute or two, and when I stopped, I couldn't even. I was like scared because I couldn't catch my breath. I think there was a video here not too long ago where I had mentioned that feeling of not being able to catch oxygen off breaths, the body being so spent. So I'm going to switch things up. I'm going to start working on speed a little bit. I've already met that it wasn't really a goal. It was something I threw out in the ether at the beginning of the month of getting to running 6 miles an hour comfortably. I mentioned that the other day I did what was that, 2 days ago, I did the 5K 3.2 miles at 6 miles an hour, and it felt good. It wasn't, it's tough. I'm not going to make light of it. It's not easy to run. It's not an enjoyable thing at this point. I'm still at the beginning stages, but I'm getting there. And today I did a mile and a half, and I ran for probably a good half a mile at 6.5 to 7 miles an hour. So and that felt good. So I'm gonna stick with that as far as as I go into that. But my two other things, I don't know if I'm going to break that 210 this month. I could. I haven't been on a scale. I just don't feel like I've been making a whole lot of progress with weight. However, I looked at something and I found out that I was actually actually up to 238 pounds. That was my top off point, and that was around March. That was probably around March. That was before I started this. But I looked at some point I must have weighed myself, and so I had 238 in my list. So I'm doing pretty good. 238 to last week I weighed I think it was 217 if I remember right. Now when I was at 38, there's probably a lot of water weight there. That was. But anyway, that's where I was, 238. And I think when I started this, I was at around 230, 232, somewhere in there, so 217. So I'm making progress, making headway there, slowly but surely. And then there was the other thing I wanted to talk about, but I forgot that too. Let's pause for a second. Actually, I think that was it. I think I talked about all of them. The wanting to put myself in awkward situations so that I could become mentally stronger and more adept to those situations. Wanting to start concentrating on speed as far as my running training goes, and then just knowing that there's a value in what I'm doing, even though I can't measure the progress that I'm making towards the business. I'm learning and experiencing things that I wouldn't have experienced had I not started this journey, and I'm going to carry those with me into something in the end. So learning a lot about a lot of different things. I'm even, a lot of what I'm gotten into. One of my things that comes up on a weekly basis is to study a successful person, and that's incorporating some history. And I'm finding that there's some interesting history things that are out there that are really starting to kind of spark my interest in things I wouldn't have learned or found. So those are all kind of the spin-off side effects of having a goal and pursuing information and pursuing something. So all good stuff, all great stuff. So continuing to have great days after great days after great days, and I don't think I'm on pace to make that $15,000 this month. However, as with yesterday, Nico Rosberg wasn't on pace to win the race, and so it came through. So we'll see what happens. I got a few more days to make a little bit more money. But anyway, I think that's it for tonight. I'll go home and get some rest and prepare for tomorrow, and just keep everything moving. So day 41. Hey, what are you doing today? Thanks.